Hello students, it's Sam Bennett, your guide to critical thinking. This is another short video on a key concept. In this video, I'll be discussing the difference between arguments and explanations. While explanations are not arguments, sometimes it is hard to tell the two apart. So we're dealing with difficult material in this video. So stay focused, take notes, and watch the video a few times if you need to. Right? That's the goal right here. We don't want to be fooled by explanations. They look like arguments, but they are not. Before we dive into this issue of arguments versus explanations, let's start with something more simple. First, an argument isn't a mere statement. If your friend comes up to you and says, "Avengers is the best movie ever, hands down," and then walks away, he has not given an argument. Even if he's being aggressive, even if he's saying something controversial, he's still not giving an argument. In contrast, if he says to you, "Avengers is the best movie ever because the build-up leading to the epic showdown is unparalleled," now he's given an argument. Why? Notice that in this second passage, he takes a position. Your friend takes a position. He says, "Avengers is the best movie ever." Great. But in this second passage, he also tries to back up his claim. He tries to defend his position by saying the build-up leading to the epic showdown is unparalleled. That's why it's an argument. He tries to defend his position. All right. An argument is also not a series of statements. Okay, so imagine your friend goes up to you and says, "Infinity War features the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy fighting Thanos. Their battle stretches across galaxies, forging new alliances. The ending dramatically shifts the Marvel Cinematic Universe." That's all fine and good. That's a great description of the movie, but it's not an argument. Why not? At no point in this passage does your friend give you a reason to believe one of his claims, right? So, for example, he says the ending dramatically shifts the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's great. That's his opinion. But he doesn't try to give you a reason to believe that the ending dramatically shifts the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's why it's not an argument. At no point does he try to defend one of the positions he takes. At no point does he give a reason to believe one of his opinions. All right, now on to the hard stuff. An argument is not an explanation. Now, this is tricky because both arguments and explanations often use the word because. But explanations are not arguments. Explanations, this is what they do. They tell us why something happened the way it did. In contrast, arguments give a reason to believe some claim or some opinion, basically. All right, so let's look at some examples. In this first passage, we see that we see the following. Jimmy is an hour late for the appointment because he drove into a ditch. Notice, the person is explaining how it came to happen that Jimmy is an hour late. He's an hour late because he drove into a ditch. Now look at the second passage. It says Jimmy is an hour late for the appointment because it's 1 p.m. and he still isn't here. Notice in this second passage, we're being given a reason to believe that Jimmy is an hour late. We should believe he's an hour late because it's 1 p.m. and he still isn't here. So this is an argument, whereas this first one, is an explanation. Now, here's one way of looking at it. An explanation answers this demand. Explain why that is happening. An argument answers a different demand. Give me a reason to believe that. Let me show you what I mean. Look at this passage. Billy must be cheating on the exam because he is desperate to pass the class. This is answering the demand, implicitly, the demand, explain why that is happening, right? Billy must be cheating on the exam. Well, explain why he's doing that. Why is that happening? Well, he's desperate. That's why he's doing that. In contrast, look at this passage. Billy must be cheating on the exam because I see him repeatedly glancing at the neighbor's test. The reason Billy's cheating on the exam is not, the cause of him cheating is not that he's repeatedly glancing at the neighbor's test. The cause of him cheating is the fact that he's desperate to pass the class. Instead, what we're being given here is the reason to believe that Billy must be cheating on the exam, right? Someone says to you, Billy is cheating on an exam. You say to them, give me a reason to believe that. Well, he's repeatedly glancing at the neighbor's test. So that is an argument. So look at another example. Someone says to you, something's wrong with my iPhone. You could say, well, give me a reason to believe that something's wrong with your iPhone. Apps are crashing more frequently than they should. That's an argument because you're being given a reason to believe that something's wrong with the iPhone. In contrast, if someone says to you, something's wrong with my iPhone because I dropped it yesterday while hiking, they're not giving you a reason to believe that something's wrong with their iPhone. Instead, they're just explaining how that happened, how it came to pass that their iPhone has something wrong with it. How did it happen? Well, I dropped it yesterday. That's why something's wrong with my iPhone. Well, thanks for watching this video. We learned how to know when a passage contains an explanation rather than an argument. As I said, it can be tricky, so rewatch the video if you need to.